the Federation of Mali, and on the 20th June 1960, Mali became an independent nation. However, in less than 3 months, Senegal pulled out, allowing Mali to be a republic. The nation Mali occupies 1,240,000 square kilometers and has a population of 19.1 million people, with 67% estimated to be under the age of 25. In addition, 90% of the population resides in the southern part, while about 60% of it lives in the rural areas. These disparities is said to be as a result of the efforts to seek better economic opportunities and livelihood. Mali's political journey began in 1960 with Modibo Keïta as its first president. He instituted a single-party system and economic reforms, but was removed in 1968 through a coup d'etat by military officers, and since then, Mali has been experiencing a series of coups d'etat, first in 1968, 1991, and 2012. The country has also witnessed intermittent rebellions in 1963, 1991, 2006, and 2012. As a result of North-South rivalries, Mali is the home of many tribes such as the Mande that make up 50% of the entire population, including the Bambara, Malinke, Saroke, Fulani, Songhai, Voltec, Tuareg, and more. Each of these ethnic groups speaks different languages, but the major ones are French, Arab, English, and Fula. Mali's main economic activities are agriculture and mining. The major agricultural commodities are cotton, cashew nuts, cowpea, mango, amongst others. The country is the 15th largest producer of cotton and mango globally, and the 8th in cashew nuts. Agriculture provides 70% of our employment and contributes about 42% of the nation's gross domestic products. Besides these products, the country is known for exporting livestock, which make up 75 to 80% of our annual exports, and is also rich in mineral deposits, especially in gold. As a landlocked area, most of our export goes through Côte d'Ivoire, and the two countries have maintained good bilateral relations.
Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We're glad to have you join us once again. I am Lydia Ochi. Now the details. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Banjul, Republic of the Gambia, on a special invitation by President Adama Barrow. The president was received on arrival at Banjul International Airport by a high-powered Gambian government delegation led by Vice President Aishatu Toure. Also at the airport were Nigeria's High Commissioner to the Gambia, Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Security Advisor, and other senior government officials. The president, who inspected a ceremonial guard mounted by a detachment of the Gambian Armed Forces, is attending the inauguration of President Adama Barrow for a second term in office. The Nigerian leader is a special guest of honor at the ceremony, being attended by several other heads of state and government, and therefore expected to deliver a keynote address. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that President Buhari is held in high esteem in the Gambia for the leading role he played in safeguarding democratic order and restoring normalcy in the country, following the refusal of President Yahya Jammeh to step aside after the disputed election of 2016, which he lost, thereby deepening a political crisis in the country. The presidency says Now let's go to our next story from Zaria. Zaria town is one of the places expected to host President Muhammadu Buhari as part of his official engagements to commission a number of projects in Kaduna State tomorrow. Suleiman Rigachuku is standing by to give us a situation report on the level of preparations and how the people of Zaria are looking forward to this historic visit. Suleiman.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, can you give us an update on the level of preparations in Zaria town?
Okay, all is set in Zaria and Sabongari local governments of Kaduna State to receive the number one citizen, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, who will come for an official visit to Kaduna State tomorrow and next and Friday too. He is coming in to commission or to inaugurate projects being executed under the urban renewal project of Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai in the metropolitan city of Kaduna and Emberos, as well as Zaria and Emberos, and also Kafanchan City. You know that Kaduna has three major cities.
Okay.
So in Zaria here, he is coming to inaugurate the completed ultra-modern Sabongari market being completed by the Kaduna State government. He's also coming to the palace of the Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Ahmad Nuhu Bamali, to pay royal visit to the Emir.
Okay.
And based on my interaction with Waziri of Zazzau earlier this afternoon, the palace has planned to welcome the president with a very spectacular horsemanship, and he's going to be received by all the palace chiefs, the traditional title holders, and district heads at the palace. So it's going to be colorful at the palace and also in other places where the president is going to be received. All is set for the receipt of the number one citizen.
It's okay. Now, thank you for giving us a rundown of projects expected to be commissioned by Mr. President. Now, tell us, what is the mood of Zaria people?
Well, the mood is calm and that of joy, because earlier this morning we had an interview with some people, even at the market area. They are so elated, so happy that this project has been executed. Some have been completed and some are ongoing. The overhead bridges, the underpasses, and also new roads being constructed. They are really happy with this development and also very happy with the presidential blessing that these projects are going to have tomorrow. So the mood is that of calm, and security is tight everywhere, and people are allowed to go about their whole business, but security personnel have been going around the places designed for presidential visits to ensure that no compromise as far as security arrangements is concerned.
That's good to know. Thank you, Suleiman Rigachuku, for giving us an update on the president's visit to Zaria. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Okay. The Senate has reconsidered and passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2010, which now provides that the decision for mode of party primaries should be reserved for political parties. This followed the rescinding of its earlier decision on party primaries, which provided only direct primaries for choosing candidates for political parties, and recommittal to the Committee of the Whole, where the observations of Mr. President as reasons for declining assent to the bill was addressed.
The Chief has signified the withholding of his assent to the Electoral Act Number 6, 2010, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2021, which was passed by the National Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent on the 18th of November 2021. Senate notes that the rationale for withholding the asset borders on his observation on clause 84 of that bill. Desirous of the need to address the observation by Mr. President Commander-in-Chief and make necessary amendments in accordance with Order 87C of Senate Standing Orders 2022 as amended.
Clause 84 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. A new electoral law based on the observations raised by Mr. President.
The bill now provides that political parties will decide to adopt direct, indirect, or consensus in choosing their candidates. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has, in amending Section 84, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, approved direct and indirect primaries for the nomination of candidates for elective positions. The House, at the commencement of plenary, immediately went into closed-door meeting, at the end of which sitting resumed in a tense atmosphere. In line with House rules, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill was recommitted for consideration, during which the earlier approved clause, which provides that direct primaries should be adopted for nomination of candidates by political parties, was rescinded. The amendment now provides direct and indirect primaries. It, however, does not provide for consensus as a mode of nomination of candidates by political parties. With the new dynamics in politics, women are emerging to break barriers in political terrain to make significant impact that affects them and the society. In this report, Elizabeth Omori takes a look at women in politics and their role in governance since 1999 till date.
Is such a person for young Nigerians to emulate.
It's an inspiration for all the boardroom gurus who have refused to come into politics to make Nigeria better.
Voices representing the thoughts of thousands of women yearning for inclusion in governance. The struggle for political recognition dates back to the 50s. The likes of Margaret Ekpo, Hajia Gambo Sawaba, and Fumilayo Ransom Kuti made impact on the Nigerian political landscape. 23 years of uninterrupted democracy in the Fourth Republic and still counting. Efforts on to correct gender imbalance in governance, cultural beliefs, discrimination, and lack of finances are major barriers to women's participation in politics.
We need to, as mobilizers of the electoral process, to ensure our women are voted.
For us to have a better future and a better world, the women must be politically empowered in every sense of it.
The reintroduction of democratic governance in 1999 has facilitated an increase in women inclusiveness, both in elective and appointive offices. The likes of Patricia Ete, Florence Itagiwa, Remi Tinubu, Virgie Itiaba, Linda Ikbazu, Grace Bent, Jumoke Akinjide, Patricia Akwashiki, Ngozi Okojo-Iweala, and late Dora Akunyili redefined the political map. Data by UN Women show that progression in women holding ministerial portfolios is considerably low, with just a small increase from 21.3% in 2020 to 21.9% in 2021 comparatively. Women in some countries occupy the role of heads of state in 22 countries, up from 20 countries in 2022. As of 1st of January 2021, 5.9% of elected heads of state, 9 out of 152, and 67% of heads of government, 13 out of 193, are women. Efforts made by various administrations to increase the level of participation of women in politics, in line with the declaration made at the 4th World Conference on Women in Beijing, which advocated 30% affirmative action, propelled the extant national gender policy in Nigeria, which recommends 35% affirmative action for a more inclusive representation of women. 1999 till date, no woman has been democratically been elected president or governor in Nigeria.
Women have been yearning for so much, but if you give them appointment and you're not giving them those rightful positions, those impacts will not be felt. So I feel that yes, we should increase the number, but we should be strategic and deliberate about the positions that will be given to women.
A United Nations report states that women's equal participation and leadership in political and public spheres are essential to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
We now take some messages. The news continues shortly in Lagos with Kende. Do stay with us.
The 157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportations. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause.
The Bureau of Public Procurement cordially invites heads of procurement in all ministries, departments, agencies, all federal government institutions in the country, contractors, civil society organizations, and the general public to a one-day stakeholder sensitization workshop on the implementation of the e-government procurement in Nigeria. Date, 20th January 2022, Golden Tulip Hotel, Port Harcourt, time 9 a.m. 27 January 2022, Lagos Admiralty Conference Center, 9 a.m. 3rd February 2022, Abuja Nikon Luxury Hotel, time 9 a.m. For more information, please call 0806 785 1616.
Candidates who are interested in gaining admission into NTA TV College, JOS, for the 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are to apply for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB. Courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects, including English language and mathematics. For inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. Management Announcer.
Femi Martins, just look at this. Remember the name. That is a wonderful goal.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA. Powered by AfroSports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
Hello, glad to have you join us in Lagos. The Nigerian Army has uncovered an illegal petroleum product depot in the heart of Lagos with 5 suspects arrested. Jesuto Moses was at the 9th Brigade Nigerian Army Ikeja Cantonment, where the confiscated products were handed over to the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps.
Operators of the illegal petroleum product depot in Oregun area of Lagos were uncovered after an 8-hour searching exercise by the Nigerian Army Operation Awase on the 11th of January 2022. 5 locally modified vans and 4 petroleum tankers were seized in the operation.
Regrettably, these activities have been ongoing for quite some time without the knowledge of relevant government agencies. Let me therefore use this opportunity to reiterate the commitment of Operation Awase to curbing all oil-related criminal activities within the southwest geopolitical zone.
Operations Officer 9th Brigade, who spoke on the negative economic implications and environmental impact of the illegal activity, charged residents to furnish security agencies with relevant information that will help uncover more of such saboteurs.
While we continue to pursue our mandate, we assure you that the Joint Force will continue to abide by all relevant code of conduct and ensure highest professionalism, etiquette in the conduct of our operations.
The officer emphasized the operation's commitment towards achieving its mandate across the southwest region. In Lagos, Jesuton Moses, NTA News.
Drug peddlers and traffickers have continued to devise various means to carry out their nefarious actions, but the government is not resting on its oars as the fight against drug abuse is yielding results. Drug abuse is one vice that is stealing and destroying the future of many youth in the country. The potentials of many have been truncated as a result of this vicious trend. Experts say a holistic approach is required to ensure that the ugly trend is nipped in the bud.
Many of these people are on the streets, even though they may be functioning in one way or the other, but life has just become very, very meaningless for them.
When we control at our hand, we notice that unregistered premises dispense these drugs at will.
Misinformation leads to increase in use, and then there's a lot of consequences, social consequences, health consequences. So we need to share the relevant information and also have relevant strategies to address this problem.
Agencies in their collaborative efforts are sounding a note of warning to drug traffickers, saying no stone will be left unturned in ridding the nation of such menace.
Using more proactive measures to make sure that we target incoming passengers and know who we should actually waste time on.
It's not about government now, it's not about organizations, it's about let's come out the whole country from families starting, getting back to the basics.
As it is generally believed that the future of a nation depends on its youth, experts say it is time to rise up to the occasion and fully curb the evil of drug abuse in the country. In Lagos, Kendi. And those are contributions from Lagos at this time. Lydia, it's back to you.
Many thanks, Kendi. The fight against the use of illicit drugs and substance abuse by the federal government is achieving positive results so far and needs to be sustained through collaborative efforts. This is the resolution of participants at a sensitization program on drug abuse and its consequences in Lafia. Charity Ashiki reports that the program is at the instance of National Orientation Agency.
It's no longer news that despite efforts by security agencies, social vices and crimes have continued to pose threats to the socio-economic fabrics of the country. Apart from other factors, consumption of illicit drugs is readily fingered as a motivation to the upsurge of crime. The one-day sensitization program is to reawaken the consciousness of all stakeholders to this danger.
It is strategic for us to do this in this year 2022 and at the beginning of the year, because it's a pre-election year and all the activities are already being heightened up towards election.
The drug trade is the second most lucrative industry in the world, following arms trade but preceding oil.
So this sensitization, I think, is timely because we need to put heads together and ensure that these activities are checkmated.
Other stakeholders who decry the effects of drugs on the society say it takes the efforts of all to reawaken the society to this reality.
Could not have come at a later time than now, considering the incidence of drug abuse, political thuggery, kidnapping, and other vices that bedeviled the nation.
This is a thing of concern, and I think that
the society as a whole must take time to address.
In Lafia, Charity Ashki, NTA News.
The proclaimed leader of proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has been arraigned on 15-count charge preferred against him by the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Having listened to the counts one after the other, Nnamdi Kanu pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Delatumbi reports.
At arrival in the court, the proclaimed leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, took his plea on the new 15-count charge, where he pleaded not guilty. The 15-count charge borders on various acts of terrorism allegedly committed by the defendant Nnamdi Kanu between 2018 and 2021. Having taken his plea, the prosecution counsel, Shuaibu Lebaran, told the court that the prosecution was ready to proceed on the matter. Counsel to the defendant, Mike Ozokume, SAN, informed the court of two pending applications, one to quash the 15-count charge, and the second application was the motion for the bail of Nnamdi Kanu. It is on record that Nnamdi Kanu had earlier jumped bail granted him by the same court few years ago. The 42-page preliminary objection contained 36 grounds upon which the defendant is urging the court to quash all the counts preferred against him. The second prayer in the interlocutory application was the plea to the court to discharge and acquit the defendant. After argument and counter-argument on the preliminary objection by both counsel, the court ruled that the preliminary objection will be heard before commencement of trial. Due to the fact that the prosecution has the right of reply to the preliminary objection and interlocutory application raised by the defendant, the court adjourned hearing of the preliminary objection to the 16th of February 2022.
Our witnesses are already in court, but were ambushed by an application for bail and indeed another application seeking to quash the charge this morning, which borders on the jurisdiction of the court. And the court, in its usual magnanimity, acceded to the fact that those applications need to be taken before we proceed. And what I want to tell Nigerians is that we are fully ready. And one thing that is very interesting that Nigerians should be looking out for is the fact that one of the counts suggesting that the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu, is a member of IPOB, and he vehemently denied being a member of IPOB. That is very curious.
Is that there being no valid legal counts in the charge to defend, she should dismiss all of them and set free, that is discharge and acquit Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of any offenses. What the prosecution tried to do was to insist that because today was set down for hearing, that the trial must go on, notwithstanding the pendency of this application, which we have filed, and not also withstanding the pendency of a second application, a 26-page motion for bail.
Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu expressed appreciation to the Department of State Service for an improved welfare of the defendant on the order of the court. Outside the premises of the court, for the second day running, a group called One Nigeria staged a peaceful rally advocating speedy trial and ensuring that justice is served in the matter.
This IPOB group and their leader are not in any way representing our brothers and sisters in Igbo land that are living in Lagos, living in Kano, living in all other parts of the country, doing their businesses and going about their daily lives. And also that of our brothers that are living in the southeast as well, that are kept at home against their own will.
At the adjourned date, both parties will address the court on the preliminary objection by the defendant. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Our next stop is Ibadan, and Adebola is standing by with more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Adebola.
Hello, Lydia. Welcome to Ibadan. Oyo State judiciary is on the path for effective justice delivery through the introduction of e-filing of court processes. Kayode Oladosu reports that the application is aimed at bringing credence and transparency to the judicial system in the state.
One of the common features of justice administration globally is delay in justice delivery, and Nigeria's justice administration is no exception. The consequences are not far-fetched, as people have often resorted to self-help and jungle justice. To correct the above, the ability to fast-track dispensation of justice through information technology is now in consideration through the adoption of electronic filing of court processes, as this will practically eliminate quackery and improve the state's judicial system.
Introducing such automation in our court system will undoubtedly speed up justice delivery.
I will urge the lawyers, the judges, the court staff to be committed to the system, roll it out.
As this new invention will put off the use of paperwork in the law court, legal practitioners applaud the provision of the automated system.
What is important is that processes get to court and they are able to deal with it as fast as possible.
You don't have to travel far to file your papers and all that. So I believe it's a welcome development, and it's time we also complied and meet the standard of the world at large.
With the introduction of the application in Oyo State, all processes in the law court will be managed from the point of filing to the point where the case will be decided. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladosu, NTA News.
In view of the incessant attacks and cases of kidnapping along Ibadan-Lagos Expressway in recent times, the Oyo State Police Commissioner Ngozi Onodeko visited the area for an on-the-spot assessment. Correspondent Rofia Animashaun Badmos has the details.
About 2 weeks ago, Onigari, a border community between Oyo and Ogun states, was in the news that a man was killed, his wife kidnapped, and one injured by yet-to-be-identified gunmen suspected to be kidnappers. To this end, a joint patrol team led by the Commissioner of Police visited the affected place.
I decided to come to just to ensure and to make members of the public, all the commuters that were here, will safeguard them, will make the roads free and secure to our own humanly possible best.
CP said the visit will also serve as a routine check on the men on patrol duty to ensure visibility policing on the road.
We'll still enjoin you people to tell people, let us stop this over speculation, carrying out kind of false news on social media.
The police boss therefore urged residents of Ibadan, your state capital, to be vigilant at all times and give intelligence information to security operatives. In Ibadan, Rofia Animashaun Badmos, NTA News.
That's it from here. Nationwide continues with Zaria in Sokoto after this break. Do stay tuned.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Kanu International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the state.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
I know
that in the last decade, this country has been at different wars trying to keep the peace and promote the sovereignty and the integrity of the country. The troops are doing their best. The president has given them all the necessary tools. It is left for us as young people and as Nigerians to give them all the support we can. We say kudos to all our gallant military men. Please, whenever you see a police officer in or out of uniform, if you know them, clap for them whenever they need be. Give them seats in buses and trains and airplanes. Have the airline managers reduce air tickets for them or train tickets for them. Show them that we appreciate what they do and show their families that there is something right and honorable and truly remarkable about wearing a uniform and going into the bushes and the forest to fight enemies of this country that are hell-bent in bringing your life to an end. It's a very tough time, but we have to all put our hands together. Please support our troops and support our police officers.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Femi Martins, just look at this. Remember the name.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA, powered by AfroSports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
You're still there, and welcome to Sokoto. Sokoto State government has expressed commitment to control killer birds and other pests causing damage to farm produce in the state. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal disclosed this at the flag-off of second round of aerial spray for dry season crops in the state. Shehu Muhammad Detti reports.
Killer birds has become a serious source of concern in Sokoto State, causing 30 to 40% losses of both dry and rainy season produce annually. These birds are very destructive and migratory in nature. Their control therefore requires regional and collective effort to achieve the desired objective. Governor Tambuwal, while flagging off the exercise, said it is aimed at ensuring adequate, wide and effective coverage to reduce population of these birds and safeguard dry season crops. Represented by Commissioner for Agriculture, Professor Aminu Abubakar, said already 3 roasting sites have been identified for the operation, namely Shagari Dam, Goranyo Dam, and Wurnu. Other than that, the exercise is complementary to the federal government's killer birds control operation in the state.
These birds, they are destructive, and they come in mass number, and they cause a lot of havoc, more especially to rice fields and other crops.
Commissioner of Agriculture, represented by the Acting Permanent Secretary, Farouk Dandere Lambara, described killer birds as a threat to farmers in the state, assuring government's commitment to further boost food production. The aerial spray is to last for 6 days, to be conducted morning and evening time. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
Wife of Sokoto State Governor Maria Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has stressed the need for communities to evolve programs aimed at supporting government in its bid to provide quality education. She was speaking while distributing instructional materials to some primary schools in Tambuwal local government. Shehu Muhammad Detti has more.
The event was organized by the governor's wife to donate instructional materials to pupils of many primary schools across Tambuwal local government.
The items donated include exercise books, school bags, and writing materials, among others. Speakers at the occasion that include Chairman Tambo Local Government Nasur Babata, State Legislator representing Tambo Local Government Model Adan Sanyina, and District Head of Sanyina Alhaji Shehu Garba, described the donation of the instructional materials as timely and encouraging, praying Allah to reward her. The governor's wife said her decision to donate the instructional materials is to encourage pupils to show more interest in their studies, urging other communities to do same in their localities. The governor's wife was honored in recognition of her support to education and people of the area. The governor's wife also visited Community Junior Girls Arabic and Islamic Secondary School, Sanyina, where she freely interacted with the students. She pledged to support the school. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
That's it from here. It's now back to Lydia in Abuja.
Thank you, Sadia. Still on education. The increasing number of secondary school graduates necessitated the establishment of 8 new federal polytechnics and 6 federal colleges of education in 2021 to accommodate more Nigerians. These new institutions now have governing councils inaugurated by the Minister of Education, Adamu. Abdul Malik Hassan reports.
It is therefore essential that you familiarize yourselves with the specific law establishing the institutions as well as all other relevant laws and regulations of Nigeria regarding education. I urge you to exercise this power with utmost sense of responsibility and in the best interest of our institution and our country.
A piece of advice by the Minister of Education, Adamu, to the newly inaugurated Governing Council of 8 federal polytechnics and 6 colleges of education established in 2021. The chairman and board members are expected to administer the affairs of the institutions for a period of 3 years.
In accordance with the law, the council shall be the governing body of the institution with powers of general control and superintendence over the policy, the finance, and the safeguard of properties of the institution.
Presentation of letters of appointment by the minister to the board members may have signaled trust and confidence, with much expected from them to ensure qualitative governance and administration of the institutions to be more responsive.
We are going there to set a new polytechnic that will believe in innovations. We are bringing innovations to bear, where people will have unfettered access to education in Nigeria.
Nigeria cannot do away with technical education. It's the bedrock of any developing society. That must give attention to it.
Well assuring were those words of the governing councils, with much hope that they lead up to expectations. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
To further encourage virtues of Quranic recitation among the younger generation, wife of Katsina State Governor Hadiza Aminu Masari has honored winner of the female category of State Quranic recitation competition. Awal Haliru was there.
Zainab Yazid emerged winner in the female category of the Quranic recitation competition after memorizing the Quran with its tafsir. She will therefore be among the participants that will represent Katsina State at the national level of the competition. Tabanin the winner as Saronia Karatu, wife of Katsina State Governor Hadiza Bello Masari, urged parents to do more.
And then they should encourage them again towards going to Islamic schools.
Chairman of the Quranic Recitation Competition Committee and Katsina State Chief Judge Justice Musa Dalade Abubakar appreciated the support of the state government towards ensuring the successful conduct of the competition. He said the state contingent will participate at the 36th edition of the Quranic competition at the national level. Commissioner for Religious Affairs Issa Lawal Joro calls on the participants to use the opportunity to pray for sustainable peace and progress of the state and the nation as a whole. Awal Halaru, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has commended traditional rulers, especially those of the northern part of the country, for their contributions in tackling insecurity and peace building in their respective domains. The Vice President gave the commendation while delivering the 2022 annual Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Leadership and Good Governance lecture in Kano. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade reports.
Standing solidly with the federal government in its fight against internal and external aggressions are the traditional rulers across the country. The northern parts of the country have been worst hit by the activities of bandits, kidnappers, and terrorists. The 8th annual Sir Amadou Bello Memorial Leadership and Good Governance Lecture provides a platform to further underscore the role of the traditional institution in engendering peace and security in the country.
The extensive influence within the existing northern traditional leadership is urgently needed today more than ever before. The soul of the North and of Nigeria, by extension, is being contested by some of the most evil and destructive forces in contemporary history. And there are modern examples of the overwhelming human carnage that can result if we do not put up tough collaborative resistance. Mr. President has on numerous occasions reiterated the view that our peace and security architecture must recognize that traditional institutions are our first line of defense against the forces of anarchy.
The theme of the lecture speaks to the revival of northern traditional institutions as an urgently needed habitat for peace and security.
We must rediscover the bridge-building roles of our forebears and speak up for the values that have held us together thus far. We have the moral responsibility of raising a standard for our young people. This includes speaking up consistently for peace and justice, and also listening patiently to their grievances. Our traditional institutions possess all the emotional channels that penetrate far deeper than the most sophisticated surveillance equipment can.
Guest speaker Justice Sidi Bagay, Emir of Lafia, set the ball rolling by calling for total recognition of the traditional institution as key to good governance.
We must look at the position that the traditional rulers occupy in our society today. Why did Saldona succeed in his administration? Simple. 2 words: justice and fairness. He gave justice to everybody. He was fair to all.
Plan properly as a community, as a government, and as a people.
Engaging the institution in finding lasting solutions to the current trend of insecurity must be brought to the front burner of policy review.
I think in order to revive this institution, we should also consider contemporary issues in our modern Nigeria.
The Vice President, before departing Kano, paid condolence visits to the families of late Hassan Naif, late Bashir Tofa, and late Sheikh Ahmed. In Kano, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has 163 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. The breakdown shows that Lagos recorded 59 cases, FCT 33, Delta 16, Kaduna 13, Gombe and Osun 12 cases each, Ogun 4, Ekiti, Oyo and Rivers 3 cases each, Borno and Imo State have 2 cases each, and Nasarawa 1. Total confirmed cases now stands at 251,341 cases, 224,939 have been treated and discharged, while 3,116 deaths have been recorded so far. Strengthening warning systems to regulate public health measures and ensuring an accelerated vaccination coverage, especially for high-risk groups, are some strategies to tackle the Omicron variant. Health experts in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, made this submission while expressing dismay at how low Nigerians have dropped their guards in observing COVID-19 precautionary measures. Ifama Aikoje reports.
Just as the tide of the highly infectious Delta variant of COVID-19 was ebbing, the world was saved another grim notice of the outbreak of a more vicious strain, the Omicron variant. Faced with the current wave and with less than 2% of Nigerians being fully vaccinated, experts say Nigeria is potentially vulnerable to the highly mutative and virulent powers of the Omicron.
It's unfortunate that, Nigerians are no longer safety conscious.
Citizens are therefore reminded that they are their own greatest protectors. After receiving